Professor, I start with you. First, your reaction to just the last, it's almost exactly 23 hours.
Well, thank you for having me, Nicole. It is exhausting. It is extraordinarily exhilarating on the one hand to see a rare act of, accountability on the part of the police. As Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, stated, this is not justice, but this is a start on the road to justice, and accountability is critical. But in the same hour that jury decision was revealed, we know that Ma'Khia Bryant died in Columbus, Ohio. So what we know is that these are deeply systemic issues that don't even provide us the opportunity to breathe now that George Floyd's killer has been held to account, because so many other Black people will face similar fates. The police will not exercise discretion, will not use a reduced sense of engagement to preserve Black life. We see constantly, we see videos of white people wielding machetes, chasing police people around. A white man with a gun on his seat as the police extract their revolvers from their holsters, pointing them at him, demanding he get out, and he refuses to and takes off, and they don't shoot him. What we're asking for is a consideration of justice that preserves our lives, that gives us a sense that we are full citizens of the American polity, and that uses the bully pulpit of the United States presidency and political office to make sure that we deliver that message ringingly to the citizens of this nation.
Can I ask for your thoughts on what the president has said and what the attorney general has committed to? Do you feel like he is listening to the right voices in terms of making the right policy changes?
I think absolutely right. First of all, the woman he has nominated to be the head of the Civil Rights Division in the Department of Justice, Kristen Clarke, is a remarkable lawyer, a remarkable jurist, a woman motivated by the highest intellectual and social principles. So that, would be an extraordinary coup for us to have her serving the American public. But yes, his sweet-souled character, his empathetic nature, his willingness to listen. No other president in that 4-minute call, as I think the New York Times reported, could so commiserate with people, so show relief. A lot of what the presidency is about is not about arcane rules or rituals or machinations or public policies. It's about the gut bucket, gritty identification with the vulnerable. It's LBJ showing up at a time of crisis. It's even George W. Bush doing the same thing. So it's extremely important. And I think, yes, he's listening to the right people. He's speaking to the right people. Now we've got to do the right thing.
I'm going to quit while I'm ahead with you on this round. We just got a compliment for George W. Bush from you, sir. I want to read, actually, I want to play this for you, David Henderson. I also want to get your, you were unsparing when the prosecution you thought was making missteps and complimentary when you liked what they were doing. So I want your review on how it ended and the result. But first, I want to play you a little bit of sound from Philonise Floyd on my colleague Andrea Mitchell's program earlier today.
I'm just still on cloud nine because as people of color, we never get justice for anything. And it's more of the accountability that these officers have to be held on of higher standards. It's just right now, I'm excited. My family is excited. The world is excited because we feel like this is the land of the free. This is why people fight to get here. And justice for George meant freedom for all.
So I am riveted by Philonise. His brother Rodney was on with us yesterday after the verdict. This family musters so much optimism in the face of the most cruel circumstances and the most unwelcome, I think, opportunity to sort of be on the public stage. I can't imagine any one of them would have chosen this, but his words are so powerful there. And to say that, right now I'm excited. My family's excited. The world is excited because we feel like this is the land of the free. This is why people fight to get here. And Justice for George made freedom for all. What do you think of that?
Well, Nicole, every time I hear him speak, I find myself thinking we need to recruit him to become a civil rights lawyer because he expresses his feelings so well. And when you and I spoke about this trial toward the beginning, I said it needs to do two things. It needs to provide justice for the Floyd family, and give them the closure that they need to be able to move on from this chapter in their life. It also needs to promote hope and healing, not just for the community in Minneapolis, but also for our country, who's dealing with some really heavy issues, obviously, as it relates to police reform. The trial has done those things as much as it can do those things. And I say that because we can't make the mistake of over-interpreting its importance in the battle for police reform. In fact, that may be the analogy. This was a battle, but we still have a war that's going to be waged with regard to police reform. And I think that we have to differentiate between effective trial strategy and truth. Presenting the Minneapolis Police Department as positively as we did during this trial was effective trial strategy. If you have a Blue Lives Matter juror, you don't want to alienate them with your presentation of the case. At the same time, there are 27 million reasons why, though Derek Chauvin is guilty, the Minneapolis Police Department is not innocent. He was part of systemic problems within that department, and police departments don't pay millions of dollars to families to be nice to them. They did it because what was alleged in that lawsuit was true, and George Floyd's death was part of systemic problems that ultimately led to these types of consequences, and also what we're seeing in surrounding areas. So if we keep that in mind, we can use this as a positive step forward in a much larger discussion that needs to be had with policing in this country.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.